Hello and welcome back to the channel. So I'm super excited about today's video because we're heading to an amazing coastal location to shoot the sunset across the Irish Sea. So should be a cracker. And I thought I'd try some POV filming today. So I've got my harness in my backpack and I'll be using the DJI Action 4 to get that POV effect so you can see exactly what I'm doing when I'm setting up my shots. So I'll be doing a bit of experimentation with various different compositions throughout sunset. And the forecast is looking pretty good. So fingers crossed for an epic shoot this evening. So I've been using an app recently called Viewfinder to help me predict certain weather conditions, and actually I've been very impressed with it. Now this isn't sponsored at all and it is a paid for app, but I think I will continue my subscription with it because so far it's been pretty accurate, especially for predicting afterglow and golden cloud. Now tonight the prediction is for 64% afterglow when the sun is down past the horizon and those clouds get lit up by the sun. So yes, fingers crossed that is what's going to happen, because it's probably my favourite type of light actually when I'm at the coast, shooting towards the light anyway, you know, where that sun's dipped down maybe 15 minutes past sunset and it's skimming across the underside of the low-lying clouds there, and everything just goes boom, doesn't it? That bright red peachy colour that we all love. So that is what we're hoping for tonight. So we are heading just down there to the beach, so not too much further, and as you can see the tide's right in, so it might be quite challenging to actually get onto the beach because it's right to the bottom of the steps. However, the tide is on its way out and I know it's a cracking location with lots of different rock formations, so it should be really good. Me and Henry actually came here, it must have been about a year ago, and came down. It was a blue sky day. Didn't really get any images I was super keen on, but hopefully that's going to change because it's looking pretty dramatic out there right now. So yes, what a beautiful evening. The tide is still at the bottom of the steps, which I wasn't quite expecting. I thought it had gone out quite a bit by the time we got down here, and it's very, very noisy. So I do apologise about the noise down here. Maybe I'll do some voiceovers if it gets too bad, but yeah, there's a nice light hitting these rocks down here just in my foreground, and I'm thinking looking down the coast might be quite a nice shot. So I think that is going to be my first port of call, just down here. Just get around the edge of these steps, and yeah, hopefully the tide won't come in anymore, otherwise we'll get stuck. Let's get around these rocks just here. Maybe put my bag down somewhere up here under the stairs. That's a good spot, I think. So I've got the 16-55 lens on the Fuji X-H2, and I think this is going to be my first shot looking down the coast. So we've got these rocks just here in the foreground on the left. We've got some of these boulders here in the foreground as well. Got the water splashing over these boulders, and also we've got some nice golden light as well, which is now starting to fill through the scene. So I think this could make an interesting shot. I've just got to, woo! You've got to watch that. Yes, so I think we're going to frame it up just like that, I think. Maybe get the tripod out and make a longer exposure, probably of about 1/3 of a second, just as the water's splashing over these rocks here. I think that could be pretty cool. Now I think what I'm going to do is put the camera on the tripod first before we get close to the water, and I'm also going to put a filter on as well. There's a big expanse of sea here, and we've got a lot of detail here and around this area. But this area is quite boring. So if you can see over here, we've got quite a large expanse of sea just here. So if I reduce the camera height a little bit, that should just reduce that amount of sea as well in the image. So yeah, I think I'm probably just a little bit too high. So I'm going to move the tripod down a little bit. So now I've got my composition set up. I'm just going to continue to take shots and be very mindful of where my tripod is positioned and when the waves come in, because if something comes in quite quickly, I might need to just grab it and move. So I think that last shot was okay, but I think I can do better for sure. Now, the problem I'm having is this beach area here is literally just it's about 15 meters wide. It stretches down there about another 150 meters, but I can't quite get around the headland yet. The tide's not quite low enough. And really, that's where I want to be shooting, back towards the light. So I'm really hoping this tide is going to recede very quickly over the next 20 minutes or so. However, what I'm going to try and do is work on this little area just down here. All these craggy rocks. The light's just catching the ones at the back there as well. Some nice big boulders down here in the foreground. So I've got the 6-stop filter on now, and that's giving us about 1/3 of a second right now, f10. And I'm focusing just in the foreground here, really, on that first dark rock. And as the waves splash over, I'm just taking shots. It's quite heavy on the right-hand side, this image, but I think there's a lot of texture and detail in these rocks. It looks quite interesting, and there's a lot of detail in the sky too. So yeah, I'm just using that longer shutter speed just to show a little bit of motion blur in the water. And every now and again it comes right up to my foreground as well, which is really cool. And we're just getting that water pouring over the rocks. It's just a case of taking lots of shots as the conditions change, as that water pours through the scene. But yeah, working with what we've got and just keep shooting. So I think I might lose the tripod for a bit and do a bit of handheld shooting. Maybe be a bit more reactive. Just put the shutter release cable down. Maybe pop the 3-stop filter on. Let's have a little look. So the light's lovely right now. Just pouring through the scene. I'm at 1/3 of a second, f11. I've got the camera on continuous low. So every time a wave comes through, I'm just holding the shutter down and just taking a series of shots of the waves just spill over these boulders in the foreground here. That light is just peeking over the top of the boulders in the background. I don't mind shooting into the sun and seeing quite dark shadows. Feels quite natural, doesn't it? So as you can see, the tide is still right up around the edge of the shoreline here, and we're not able to get further down the beach, which will give us a view back towards the light. So things are starting to get very dark in here now. So I think we're going to head it back onto the coastal path and see if we can get a shot for sunset as the sky is looking pretty epic. I think maybe one of those shots was quite good, the one looking towards the light where it was just peeking over the top of the cliff. So yeah, I think that was a half decent shot. Well, it certainly looked on the back of the camera. So difficult down there, I was getting soaked. At one point I got a wave right over the top of my knee, but just look at all these wild flowers just here. Absolutely amazing. And I did see some on the coastal path along the top, which will be pointing towards the sun. So hopefully that might be a good one for sunset, which is going to be happening very shortly. So let's get a wiggle on. Looking good. Right, got to be quick, got to put the wide angle lens on. Got some amazing light right now. Absolutely amazing. And I found these pink sea thrift here and the daisies just beyond this little area here. It's just incredible. Okay, I need to keep my shutter speed up a little bit, 1/25 of a second, just to try and freeze the motion in the thrift in the foreground. So yeah, I probably need to focus stack this. I'm so close to this thrift. So what I'm going to do is position my focus point on the sea down the bottom there, move my camera, focus on the thrift, reposition, get my composition, take a shot, focus on the sea, take the shot. The light is incredible, absolutely sublime. Okay, I just need to keep shooting this. So that light was a bit of a treat, absolutely amazing. I think there's a good chance we might even get some more light in just a bit when the sun goes below the clouds. It's looking pretty promising. So I saw a composition just down here. Here it is. When I was coming back down, and I don't know if you can see all of these wildflowers just here. Absolutely incredible. We've got some thrift, sea campion, and these daisies as well. So I think maybe I might get set up here for sunset. Get the tripod out, just relax a bit. It's been pretty hectic actually, a couple of hours. So you can see just here, we've got this amazing selection of pink sea thrift and also these daisies here. So I think it looks really nice. And it just frames this foreground here. And the coast just runs around, and we've got the little island on the end there. Now, you might just be able to see underneath this really dark patch of cloud here, there's a very thin slither of light just underneath it. And I'm hoping the sun is going to poke through that somewhere in between the end of the island and the headland there. So I'm hoping we're just going to get a splash of light just at that last moment and light all of these daisies and thrift up. That would be absolutely amazing. Settings wise, at the minute I'm at 15th of a second. I might need to boost my ISO just to make sure I freeze any motion in these flowers, but we'll see how the wind is over the next couple of minutes. F10, ISO 125, yeah, so I might boost that, and I also will need to focus stack this image. I'll be focusing on the flowers and then again on the sea in the background there, and just blend those two images together. Shouldn't be too difficult, I don't think. And that's another reason for having the tripod. It just makes the blend a little bit easier, especially when you've got quite a big distance between, you know, your foreground element and your background. Whew. Anyway, I'll put the shots up now for you, and hopefully it's a good one. So what a wonderful evening it's been. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Please let me know if you thought the POV thing was a good thing or not. I won't be offended if you didn't enjoy it, but if you did like it, maybe I'll do more in the future. And yeah, if you did enjoy this video, you might like the one that's up there, and you might also like my ebook as well, which is linked at the top there and down in the video description. Anyway, take care, and I do hope to see you again next week.